The Urantia book. The Urantia book. In paper 46, the local system headquarters. In paper 46, the local system headquarters. Transportation system is allied with the circulatory streams of energy movement. These main energy currents being located at 10-mile intervals. By adjustment, the physical features of Jerusem. So, Jerusem is the name of the system capital in the Urantia book. The system of Satania is the name of it that it's given. And the capital is Jerusem, and they're giving information about the physical features of Jerusem. In detail. 10-mile intervals, et cetera, like real detail about what this planet looks like. Many paragraphs about that. Paper 46, section 4, residential and administrative areas. So this system of Satania has 619 inhabited spheres. So evolutionary human will-being spheres, such as Urantia, with human evolutionary mortals on them. 619. The plan is for 1,000 evolutionary human planets, just like Urantia, in each system. There's 10,000 systems in a universe, or a local universe, as the Urantia book calls it. Oh boy. The system capitals are unique in that they are the only worlds which exhibit well-nigh perfectly all three phases of universe existence: the material, the morontial, and the spiritual. Whether you are a material, morontia, or spirit personality, you will feel at home on Jerusem. So also do the combined beings, such as the midway creatures and the material sons. Humans, evolutionary human will beings who live and die, such as on Urantia here, I believe immediately after death, when a human evolutionary will being is raised from the dead, they're in the morontia. That is the name given in this book for that state of being. Whatever that material, quote unquote material is, it's not physical material. So, who would be the material beings on Jerusem? Because they say the midway creatures and material sons are combined in terms of they don't even say how they're combined in terms of material, morontia, or spirit personality. But material sons are Adams and Eves and their children, their progeny. Midway creatures are the permanent citizens of a evolutionary will-being planet such as Urantia. And quasi-material, they might use that term in the Urantia book, The midway creatures is a topic unto itself in terms of describing them. Jerusem has buildings of both material and morontia types. And Jerusem is but the first step on the way to the supernal perfection of paradise beauty. So, the Urantia book, in quite a few places, I mean, at least, a few places in the book, it will describe the beauty of these higher planets. Paradise, Avona, Urantia, constellation capital, Salvington, a universe capital, local universe capital. They will describe the beauty of the architectural spheres. Like, I think for this system, Satania and Jerusem, the capital sphere, I think they mentioned something about there's no real harsh weather, but there are lakes and rivers, relatively calm, placid, relatively speaking, days in terms of weather. No major snowstorms or earthquakes or things of this nature. I think they deliberately say that in the Urantia book about the calmness of the overall weather type nature environment of specifically maybe Jerusem or Urantia and other architectural spheres. The residential reservations assigned to the major groups of universe life are designated the Jerusem circles. Those circle groups which find mention in these narratives are the following. 1, the circles of the sons of God, such as myself, the circles of the angels and higher spirits. Number 3, number 4, number 5, the circles of the assigned ascending mortals, including midway creatures. Number 6, number 7, the circles of the core of the finality. The circles of the sons of God, such as myself, though the sons of God possess a social planet of their own, one of the transitional culture worlds, they also occupy these extensive domains on Jerusem. I, with the other sons of God, Paradise, Magisterial Vonal sons, Creator sons, and Trinity Teacher sons, possess a social planet of our own in Satania, but also we occupy a circle or circles. We occupy circles, extensive domains on Jerusem. On their transitional culture world, the ascending mortals freely mingle with all orders of divine sonship. There you will personally know and love these sons, high sons such as myself, magisterial vonal sons, but their social life is largely confined to this special world and its satellites. In the Jerusem circles, however, these various groupings of sonship may be observed at work, and since morontia vision is of enormous range, you can walk about on the sun's promenades and overlook the intriguing activities of their numerous orders. I, as a human evolutionary will being, when I die and I'm raised from the dead and I'm in the morontia on Jerusem in the system of Satania, or any other human evolutionary will being who dies and is raised from the dead and is in Jerusem in the system of Satania, may observe these sons of God, such as myself, a magisterial vonal son, creator sons, Trinity teacher sons, at work. We can walk about on the sun's promenades, my promenades as a magisterial vonal son, and overlook the intriguing activities of their numerous orders. Numerous orders meaning more orders than creator sons, magisterial sons, and Trinity teacher sons. These 7 circles of the sons are concentric and successively elevated so that each of the outer and larger circles overlooks the inner and smaller ones, each being surrounded by a public promenade wall. The circles which I occupy as a magisterial livonal son on Jerusem are concentric and successively elevated so that each of the outer and larger circles, which I work in, well, I specifically only work in the first circle, but the sons of God work in, I as a member of the sons of God work in, overlooks the inner and smaller ones, each being surrounded by a public promenade wall. These walls are constructed of crystal gems of gleaming brightness and are so elevated as to overlook all of their respective residential circles. The many gates from 50 to 150,000, which penetrate each of these walls, consist of singly pearly crystals. They talk about that here and there in the Urantia book. I don't know if it's quite a bit, but they do talk about it. Crystals are a big part of the spirit realm. They talk about a giant crystal receiving lake, like probably a giant circular, I think they might say circular, giant circular type crystal, lake-like something that's the receiving place for spirit beings to come and go from the planet. They were maybe, I believe they were talking about Jerusem, maybe Urantia, maybe other spheres, as far as giant crystals. Crystals, here they're talking about crystals adorning the physical, morontial, and spiritual constructs of Jerusem. Well, at least material and morontia constructs. Material and morontia constructs. The adornment of which, the beautification of the crystals are a big part of. What physical and morontial structures are adorned with, maybe made with, I guess probably made with crystals, as far as different buildings and different constructions of different kinds. Crystals are a big part of this. On the architectural spheres, seems to be what they're saying in the Urantia book. The first circle of the domain of the sons is occupied by the magisterial sons and their personal staffs, such as myself. So, myself as a magisterial son. So the first circle of the domain of the sons is occupied by me and my personal staff. The first circle of the domain of the sons is occupied by myself and other magisterial livonal sons and their personal staffs on Jerusem. Here center all the plans and immediate activities of the bestowal and adjudicational services of these judicial sons. In the first circle, center all of the plans and immediate activities of my bestowals and my adjudicational services as a judicial son myself, as a magisterial livonal judicial son. Juridacal. Judicial sons. Judicial sons. Um, in the first circle of the domain of the sons, such as myself, magisterial livonal sons, here center all the plans and immediate activities for my bestowal and adjudication services, or any magisterial livonal sons bestowal and adjudicational services. It is through this center that the avenals, such as myself, of the system maintain contact with the universe. It is through the first circle of the domain of the sons that I maintain contact with the universe. It is through the center of the first circle of the domain of the sons, such as myself, that I, as a magisterial livonal son of the system of Satania, maintain contact with the universe of Nebanon. Seventh circle is the rendezvous of the ascending sons. Those assigned mortals may be temporarily functioning on the system headquarters together with their seraphic consorts. All ex-mortals above the status of Jerusem citizens and below that of finaliters are reckoned as belonging to the group having its headquarters in this circle, the seventh circle. They do call the seventh circle the Jerusem circles. Paper 46, section 5, line 8 says the seventh circle is the circles of the core of the finality. That is how it is named. Oh, I'm sorry. The circles of the sons of God is 7. And the seventh circle of the sons of God, such as myself, that is the rendezvous of the ascending sons. Those assigned mortals who may be temporarily functioning, those above the status of Jerusem citizens and below that of finaliters would be in the seventh circle of the circles of the sons of God, the first group of circles, 7 of them. These circular reservations of the sons, such as myself as a Paradise Magisterial Livonal son, occupy an enormous area, and until 1900 years ago, there existed a great open space at its center. This central region is now occupied by the Michael Memorial, completed some 500 years ago. 495 years ago, when this temple was dedicated, Michael was present in person, and all Jerusem heard the touching story of the Master Son's bestowal on Urantia, the least of Satania. The Michael Memorial is now the center of all activities embraced in the modified management of the system occasioned by Michael's bestowal, including most of the more recently transplanted Salvington activities. The memorial staff consists of over 1 million personalities. So, right in the center of the circles of the sons, including myself as a magisterial livonal son, right in the center, they put a Michael Memorial, completed some 500 years ago. Michael was present when it was dedicated, Michael of Nebanon. So they'll say in the Urantia book, Michael of Nebanon, the creator, ruler, maker of this local universe of potential and potential 10 million inhabited worlds similar to Urantia with human evolutionary will creatures on them. He cannot be in more than one place at the same time. They say for any being other than the Paradise Trinity. Other than the members of the Paradise Trinity, the Universal Father, the Eternal Son, and the Infinite Spirit, those are the names given to the three persons of the Paradise Trinity in the Urantia book. They can be in multiple places at the same time. They say no other beings can do this. So there's a line in the book pretty specifically saying that. So when Michael of Nebadon goes somewhere, that's where he is. He's not somewhere else. So Michael of Nebadon himself, the maker, ruler, sovereign of this local universe, was there for the dedication of this memorial to his life as Jesus of Nazareth 495 years ago. And, just like a celebration of any kind here on Urantia, any kind of gathering where there's a crowd and speeches and things of this nature, same thing. This is like a museum in a sense. There's over 1 million personalities in charge of the memorial staff for this Michael Memorial, a huge staff for visitors who want to visit the Michael Memorial. And just like a museum here on Earth, it sounds to me as if it's very similar. Probably much more interesting, lovely, whatever on Jerusem than things on Earth as far as museums on Earth. But nonetheless, that which is on Earth is symbolically similar to that which takes place in the spirit realm. Here's an example of that in terms of a museum of sorts. They say, again, Urantia being the least of Satania. So at the time of the Lucifer Rebellion, 200,000 years ago, roughly. So Urantia, this planet, is a young planet at that time. There may be 619 total human evolutionary will-being planets in this system of Satania. So this sphere of Urantia, Urantia, being a young sphere, having the misfortune of the planetary prince Calgastia going into rebellion with Lucifer. This is information in the Urantia book about their take on Lucifer, Satan, all the biblical ideas, any other ideas in conventional human literature from Christianity or other religious faiths. This is the Urantia book's take on it, belief about it, statements about it. So this world was the least. They say it a couple times in the book, maybe 3-4 times, something like that, how this planet was the least of all creation in the sense of the misfortune that has occurred on this planet Urantia with the system rebellion. Only 3 out of 10,000 systems have rebelled. With the planetary prince rebellion, only 36 of the 619 planets rebelled. Of the default of Adam and Eve, the loss, the removal of Adam and Eve from this sphere. That might have happened on some other spheres. So, and this is a very young sphere in terms of the maturity of the humans on it. So all those factors make this planet the least in terms of Nebadon as a human evolutionary will-being planet. And that's why. I don't know if they say it directly, but that's sort of kind of why Michael of Nebadon decided to bestow himself on this planet as Jesus of Nazareth, because in his creation as the maker, ruler, creator of Nebadon, the least of his evolutionary human will-being planets, Urantia, he picked that one planet to have his life on as a human being. Only once in the history of Michael of Nebadon will he live as a human being, as a baby born of woman, and he did it on this planet because this planet, relative to every other planet in Nebadon, had the most unfortunate circumstances in terms of spiritual planetary rebellion, higher spirit beings going into rebellion involving Urantia. So they never say directly Michael of Nebadon picked this planet because it's the least, but that's very well insinuated here and there in the book. That's why Michael of Nebadon came to this sphere as Jesus of Nazareth, because this was the least of all creation in his universe. Uh, so, like, they had a ceremony, right? Someone talked about the life of on Jerusem, the system capital of this system. And this world is in the system of Satania. Jerusem is the capital of Satania. So on Jerusem, someone gave the story about Jesus of Nazareth, Michael's bestowal, now a master son, his bestowal on Urantia as Jesus of Nazareth. Someone gives the recital of this story. Circle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the circles of the finalators have a unique structure at the center. And this same vacant temple is found on every system headquarters world throughout Nebadon. This edifice on Jerusem is seated with the insignia of Michael, and it bears this inscription, undedicated to the 7th stage of spirit, to the eternal assignment. Okay. So the circles of the finalators, again, 7 of them, but they only give one paragraph here about it. And they're saying that, so the Urantia book says, humans, me, you, any human who has died, been resurrected from the dead, either on this world or a mansion world, most purposefully a mansion world, and then moving on from there to more inward spheres or higher spheres, all the way to achieving Havona, paradise, essential universe of perfection, the home of the gods, the home of the Trinity, the God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit, meeting those 3 beings, being embraced by those 3 beings, being embraced specifically by the first person of the Trinity, the Universal Father, and becoming a finalator. That's the name given to these mature, completely knowledgeable, completely experienced beings, formerly, or as a part of their history, being human evolutionary will creatures on human evolutionary will planets, such as Urantia. But these finalators, they say in the book, I'm pretty sure, and they definitely say this in the earlier papers, throughout the book, here and there, even becoming a finalator is a 6th stage spirit, whatever that means in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So something about the outer space levels, the next outer space level, something concerning that, and being a 7th stage spirit, or maybe past the first outer space level. At the end of the outer space levels, maybe something about being a 7th stage spirit, something like that. The book talks about it extensively, gives details about it, very extensively, about what all that means as far as what a 7th stage spirit is, 6th stage spirit. The information is in the book. But the finalators right now are only 6th stage spirits. So in the middle of their circles, the finalators have an edifice with the insignia of Michael, and someday you shall look upon this silent temple, even though you may not penetrate its mystery. So it's sealed. So it's a temple of some kind that's sitting there empty, is what they're saying. It's sitting there. It cannot be gotten into, none but Michael can or may break the seal of sovereignty, affixed by the bright morning star Gabriel, the firstborn in Nebadon. So it's a dedicated edifice that sits there and won't, the mysteries of what it is and what's inside it will not be revealed until seemingly, probably, apparently, until the grand universe is settled in light and life, and finalators are going to go to the next outer space level. That's seemingly what I would say that they're saying about it. I am going to go to a little, it's not a concert, more like a radio show, an old time radio show in one of the local parks here. In my town, one of the local parks is having an outdoor radio show. I plan to go to that.